Let's move on and let's go and see how the internet did react to that dreadful performance yesterday. No Context Tottenham is comparing our front three under Mourinho to our front three yesterday with Johnson, Solanke, Moore compared to Gareth Bale, Harry Kane and Son Heung-min.
I mean, we did finish 8th in that season. So, I mean, we can be nostalgic about the season we finished 8th if we want, but it is not as good of a front three now, I agree.
David, we are Tottenham TV Korea, says in their last 3 Premier League games, Tottenham lost both games that Son Heung-min didn't play in. The only game he did play was the 4-1 win against West Ham.
I mean, it is a small sample size, 3 games, but, you know, to be honest, look, I was reading, I think Vicario was... he was asked about the absence of Son. He said, we have to be able to win games without Son. We lacked something, not in football, but in attitude and fight. Maybe he's hinting that, you know, without Son's leadership, that was something we lacked yesterday. And people keep saying, is Son a captain? I hate when people complain about Son being a captain or Son's leadership, because I just see him and I think he's a great captain. I think he's got a great leader. And I think there is something maybe we missed yesterday without his leadership skills. I
agree, but with the players that we had on the pitch yesterday, you know, it was very close to our best 11. The only change you'd make is Son in for Mikey Moore, right? In terms of our best 11. There's enough experience on there to have leaders. Maddison, Romero, both in the leadership squad. Kulusevski, who I've been talking about, that has growing in terms of the leadership aspect. Vicario, a really good leader, in my opinion, as well. Like, there's more than enough in there to be able to, like, in terms of what he's saying, in terms of the lack of the fundamental, that should never be happening, even when you have a B team on the team. But that was very close to our first 11.
Agreed. No, you can't. It's not an excuse. It's just something that is there to notice. Obviously, we have won games in the past couple months without Son. It's not like we can't win without him. But yesterday, maybe that was something lacking. I don't know.
What games have we won without Son?
We beat United.
Yeah.
Won some Europa League games. We didn't beat West Ham. West Ham, Son came back. But we went on a run, didn't we? 5 wins without Son, pretty much. I mean, we beat Brentford. He was with Son, and then he got injured.
Yeah.
We won a few games without him. Was it the cup game? Do we win a cup?
Coventry.
Have we not played in the cup since?
No.
That was without Son, yeah. We won one without Son there.
So, I mean, in terms of teams of note, I mean, we haven't beaten anyone, have we?
Look, every game's tough.
Yeah. especially when you're a Spurs fan. Jim Oso Spurs says it's amazing how quickly people forget where we were 18 months ago and claim there hasn't been enough progress. And look, I agree with this. You know, as much as I've been, you know, not happy with what I've seen over the past couple of weeks in terms of Brighton and Crystal Palace, it is important to note that there has been a crazy amount of change over the last 18 months. Mitch Fretton says, still behind Ange, it takes time. Yeah, I mean, we've said that consistently throughout the stream, but he needs to start changing the results at away games, because it's clearly been not good enough for the past 12 months.
Yeah, that's the big thing he's got to address, 100%.
Jay says, Romero is effing awful. People need to stop raving about him because he plays well for Argentina. Who the F plays a ball like that across your own box? Yeah, look, I've stated my frustrations about Romero quite often this season, particularly in the early stage of the season. He was at fault for quite a few of the goals that we were conceding. I believe that he is a top quality defender. I just also believe that he's not showing his best self at the moment, and I'm not sure why that is.
Yeah, but I also think as well, you look at like yesterday, for example. Yeah, the pass was not a clever pass, and you know Van der Ven ends up slipping or whatever. But look how many times he's left in a one-on-one situation and he has to deal with that, like he was at the back end of the second half, and he was able to overcome that. Like, do people think if we put Dragoshin in, it's just going to magically turn better? Like, and it's going to be, we're going to concede less goals? I don't believe that. I think it'll probably be worse if we put Dragoshin in, especially with his ability on the ball. I know he gave the ball away a bit yesterday, Romero. But do we really think Dragoshin's going to give a ball away less than Romero is? Do you really think that in those situations like Romero was in 101, Dragoshin's more likely to come out on top than Romero is? I don't think so. So I know Romero's been, in some situations, not shown his best self. Like maybe, look, you could say that corner that we conceded against Arsenal, Dragic maybe would have done better. That goal we conceded against Leicester, maybe Dragic would have done better. I understand those situations, but I think in general, when you're comparing Dragic to Romero, I still think we'll get a lot more upside from having Romero in than we would over having Dragic in my opinion.
I believe what you're saying. 100% believe that Romero is a better player than Dragic and fits our system a lot better than Dragic as well. But that doesn't get away from the reality that Romero isn't playing his best football this season.
Yeah, especially in some moments in the box, for sure. I agree, and that's reality. That is reality.
Talking THFC says our worst performance since, well, about 3 weeks ago in Brighton. No Sonny means no leaders in this squad. Plain and simple. 10 points off the top, and we've not even played 10 games. That's all with City, Villa, Chelsea, Liverpool and Forest before 2025. Yikes.
Yeah, I mean, you could always put those games together. I mean, look, everyone has to play everyone. Like, yeah, we have to play these difficult games, so does a lot of our rivals. But look, we're 10 points off City. I mean, I don't think anyone was looking at being in the title challenge this season, to be honest. So as much as that doesn't look good, it does. I'm more looking again at like the top 4, top 3, and we're not too far away from those teams at the moment. We have to play City twice. One in the cup. One of them is in the cup, not in the league. Obviously, that's going to be a difficult game, but we gave City 2 very good games last season. Drew 3-3 away, and at home, that was one of our better games, albeit we lost 2-0. That was one of our better games last season. Villa, we won 4-0 last season. I know we lost 2-1 at home last season. We could have easily won that game. Chelsea, we did have 2 very bad games, so I can see that. And the way Chelsea are playing, look, it's going to be difficult. Liverpool's going to be difficult. Premier League is difficult, and all these games are going to be difficult. Nothing is gimme, but that's the nature of the Premier League. All these teams that they're talking about are also going to drop points. So, yeah, it's difficult, but I'm not sitting here thinking we're not going to win any of those games, in my opinion.
The caller says, we are a mid-table side. Discuss.
I don't think we're a mid-table. Well, it depends how you define mid-table. Is mid-table from where to where?
I think mid-table's probably 7th or 8th down to like 12th, 13th.
Well, I think we'll finish higher than that. So that's my opinion. I think we're better than... I know we're 9th for the moment. I think things could look very different. I mean, yes, you could argue things could look worse as well if we have go on a bad run. But I think, the league table really doesn't mean much. I know Man City are top, and the top 3 might be the top 3 come the end of the season. But I also maintain that the league table doesn't mean too much up until like 15, 16, 17 games in. And then unless you're really far apart, like if you're like 12 points adrift, then you can say, okay, you're probably out of the race or whatever you're challenging for. But I think at this stage, the league table's so tight, it really doesn't mean too much.
Yeah, to a certain extent, I agree that the league table doesn't mean anything at this stage of the league. But you look at the league table now, and probably the top 5 best teams in the league are probably in the top 5.
Yeah, so I'm saying, as much as that's true, again, it could change very quickly. So we'll wait and see what happens.
This stage last season, we were top of the league, right?
We were. Didn't mean much.
And now Man City are there, 23 points, Liverpool 22. How are we? 5 points outside the top 4 at the moment. And if we lose, it'll be 8. If we win, it'll be 2. So a lot hinges on this weekend.
It's a big weekend.
1882_Tottenham says, but please don't just naively shout Ange out and make claims a good coach could get more out of this squad. It's a bang average squad with little attacking individuality. It's on the hierarchy and the woeful recruitment. I disagree that we've got a completely bang average squad. I think we've got a fairly good squad, but obviously we're still smack bang in the middle of a rebuild and we need to add more to it. I don't think we've got a bad squad.
I don't think we've got a bad squad. I think it's young. I think it's got a lot of learning to do, and it's got a lot of figuring out to do. But I think there's a lot of potential with a lot of... Yes, there's holes there. Yes, there's not perfect squad, and it needs improvement in certain areas. But I think what we have, there's a lot of individual quality, and there's a lot of things we can build on. And yes, when we have days like yesterday, it looks terrible. But I think in general, there's a lot of things to be excited about with this squad, in my opinion.